Oh my God.
Welcome back, fellas, to a new edition of the Unofficial Commentators, brought to you by your host, JJ98, Paki over here, all the way from the scorching hot Dominican Republic, and of course, our producer, Dago Ortiz, behind the cameras. Big shout out to Dago as always. Jay, my friend, football is back. Fantasy Week 1 is over. How's it going over there, man?
Oh man, so good. It's been such a long time since I had such a great start in fantasy. Got some mixed feelings, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Nonetheless, man, very, very good. It is Wednesday. I'm feeling freaking desperate. I'm dying to see some more football. I feel like nothing is happening on a Wednesday until football comes around. It's like I'm antsy.
I know.
Oof.
The weeks are slower nowadays. By the way, what are you
Ah,
drinking this episode, bro? I mean, it's kind of tradition already.
it's
What do you
it's a
got for us
winner.
today?
It's a winner's punch. So you know us Dominicans, man, we fix everything with rum, right? So there's some rum in
Right.
here. And I was feeling a little under the weather, so I put some green tea in it. It's crazy. It's
Hmm.
gonna give me some energy, and it's rum, and it's slightly chilled, so it's gonna be delicious.
Well, cheers, my friend. I'm gonna accompany you today. I got some wine here. I know this is not a glass for wine, but fuck it. We're in football season. As you could tell, I'm a Raider fan, so
You should
mm.
save the whining for when you start losing.
Bottoms up. I already started losing.
Oh yes.
I mean, I don't even feel bad about losing though. I was the second highest scorer in the league. You were the first. Clearly, the commissioners are giving these guys some lessons on how to score points, so it is what
Yes,
it is.
sir. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, I don't know, man. We're holding back on all of that until we get to fantasy.
Yeah.
Just tell me, man, how's it been going? I recorded last week's podcast solo. You had some issues dealing with some a hurricane scare. It wasn't so much of a hurricane over there in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Props or shout outs or heartfelt condolences to everyone in the Florida area who's dealing with like real problems. But
Yeah, we did have some floods in the country, just not here in the city where I am. The northern part of the island did get hit. Luckily, it was just a scare. I had to go do some errands. I couldn't record, but everything's good. So that's the important thing. And big shout out to the people in Florida, man. Hope they're okay.
and I heard that from this tragedy came a brand new character, a brand new Dominican hero, the Candyman Beato.
Beato, corre, Beato! Yo,
Oh
that thing
man.
went viral here, man. This is crazy, the type of shit that goes viral here, man.
It didn't just go viral there, man. It was viral everywhere.
Beato, corre, Beato! Entró!
I
Oh, man, that was hilarious.
I got no qualms with that. From tragedy, we make something creative and happy. That's kind of the Dominican way. All right, man. So speaking of tragedy, what a bigger tragedy than the UFC is nowadays, huh?
I wouldn't say the UFC is nowadays. I would say that fight card that just went down on Saturday, UFC 215, is supposed to be a big deal, and that fight card was complete trash. Um, I-
It was a pay-per-view. They
oh my,
finally
that could have been
decided
a fight night. That could have been a fight night.
they decided to put two championships on the line from two champions that are typically not big draws. For Amanda Nunes to be a big draw, you have to put her in the UFC 200 card. I mean, everybody's going to watch it regardless, so might as well put her there and kind of give her props for bringing people. When in actuality, she doesn't draw that much. And then you also added Mighty Mouse, and they were already having problems bringing people to watch the 125-pound weight division, and this is not better at all. There was so many storylines, man. There were he was gonna it was either match or break Anderson Silva's record for title defenses. Just basically gonna run the world at 125. After that, they were talking about selling the division, moving on, putting him in another weight class, all this other stuff. Sadly, we didn't get to witness any of it. It
Yeah.
just it fell flat because Ray Borg had to pull out due to illness.
Yeah, this is becoming like a trending topic now for UFC and fighters pulling out. I really wasn't excited about this card from the get go.
Is Ray Borg
Um,
Brazilian?
I wasn't even impressed. I know. I think he's Mexican. I think he's part Mexican. I don't think he's Brazilian though. I'm not
Uh,
sure. I don't want to get into it, but I believe he is from South America or Puerto Rican or something like that. But it's
uh,
not Brazilian.
I'm surprised because Mexicans don't pull out.
you
Ba-doom.
better you better watch out with that. Anyways, I wasn't excited about this card. I wasn't impressed by the card, and I wasn't impressed by any of the fights either. Oh, Dos Anjos fighting Neil Magny. Well, Neil Magny just ruined his MMA career losing to Dos Anjos, who's washed out already. So I don't know, man. It's not something that I really feel comfortable talking about right now, except for the fact that Amanda Nunez again she beats Shevchenko. I really had some hopes for Shevchenko. Otherwise, there's nothing in this division to look out for. So another dead division in the UFC.
Another division. So Amanda Nunez, nobody really watched. After what seems like months of investigation, they finally released the results of the B sample for the John Jones test, and I guess much as we expected, man, he's guilty. He again popped for steroids, so that's it. That officially and without a doubt marks the end of the John Jones era. They have stripped him of his title. They have re-awarded the title back to Daniel Cormier, and they made the fight a no contest. What are your thoughts on this, Paki?
Yeah, I'm sure that they try to get every single avenue to, try to excuse John Jones from failing this drug test. But at the end of the day, my real question is, how does Cormier feel about this? I mean, you lost twice to John Jones. Whether he was doped up or not, it doesn't matter, man. You lost convincingly both times. He was given the title back. I mean, would you really feel like a champion? I mean, that's the question. Like, all right, I'm the champion, but I know there's a guy that's better than me, even though he can't control himself. So it's a really awkward situation for the entire UFC and Cormier and John Jones. I don't know.
Well, you asked the question, and the fact of the matter is that I don't care for the answer. I don't know why, but I just find Daniel Cormier so damn unlikable. I don't know what it is. Something about his face, maybe his voice. Maybe he's just trying too hard to be
That's
funny.
that's it. No. I think that's it. He's trying too hard to be liked, not to be funny. Cormier tries too hard to be liked. That's it.
I just think he tries too hard to be whatever, whether it's hated or liked, because recently he took on this whole persona of being like a bad guy. He wanted to be a heel. He's there, cutting bullshit wrestling promos on what's that other young kid's name? The other lightweight, Corey something or other.
Mhm.
Uh, talking shit to him while he's in the ring after having won against Rumble Johnson. And it's like, either he's a good guy or a bad guy. It doesn't matter. He's just, I don't see it. He's just so damn unlikable. I don't care. Like, I hate John Jones right now for what he did. Like, I hate him. He ruined UFC. You know, not single handedly, but he ruined UFC. And then, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to feel bad for Cormier because he got screwed out of a win or screwed out of his title. But the fact of the matter is, I don't. And if they had to, put anyone against Cormier for him to defend his title, I'm going to root against that anyone. I just don't like him.
Yeah, that's the question though. Who is he gonna fight that you can actually think it's an actual decent fighter? I mean,
I don't
he's
care
done. He's
whoever it
done.
is,
Who are you
whoever
gonna
it
root
is.
for?
I'm going to root for that guy, whoever that is. Just rooting for the upset. I don't like this guy. I want him to lose again and possibly retire. Or as a matter of fact, he should probably retire on this high note. Retire as a champion. You don't have to defend anymore. Just keep doing your Fox commentating and all that other stuff, and just be happy that way.
Yeah, he's a pretty good commentator, so he definitely has a future in that for sure.
You know what?
Um,
I'm not a fan of Dominic Cruz, but I think he's an amazing commentator. Like that guy has excellent insight.
yeah, except that I hate him so much. Like, you see the same thing you have with Cormier. That's what I have with Dominic Cruz. So I just don't stand any of his comments. It's like they just rub off me in the wrong way.
Well, they're both DC. I don't like DCs as fighters. I don't like their movies, so I guess it's just a trend.
I guess it is, man. But it is what it is. I mean, the UFC has to move on from here. After UFC 215, we clearly know there's no real seller outside of McGregor, so
There's no
they
draw.
they got to build something up quick.
There is no draw. They're building up this super card for MSG on November 4th, and it's going to be Bisping and GSP, whatever's left of GSP. Like we haven't seen him fight in what feels like 3 years, and the what's his name, TJ Dillashaw against No Love Garbrandt. I don't think Garbrandt has defended his title since he won it. It feels like that was a year ago.
Yeah, he got hurt. Remember, he was supposed to defend it, but he got hurt and he got called back. And I'm really
I
waiting for that fight though, for sure.
I don't know. I think they might have missed their window, but hopefully it's good and it gets me interested in it again. But I kind of feel like there's nothing to watch UFC for right now, and that's sad because you know, I'm not the only one who thinks this, and they're losing fans by the boatloads. Like they didn't get enough fans when it was on the rise for them to afford to be losing fans this rapidly.
I don't I don't think they're losing fans yet. I mean, I think you're a little bit too quick on that statement. I mean, after what Conor McGregor did with Mayweather, I think they actually gained a lot of fans. It just didn't. It just didn't, come out in this pay-per-view because this fight card was horrible. But we should get better fight cards in the upcoming pay-per-views. I mean, the fact that DJ had to, give up his fight affected it a bit as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't say they're losing fans just yet, bro. I think you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
Well, I said they can't afford to lose them. I didn't say that they actually did lose them, but whatever. And the fact of the matter is, you have to capitalize on the momentum of the McGregor Mayweather fight. And if you didn't capture people's attention in this UFC, then I think you missed your window too. There's a fight this weekend coming up, another boxing fight. Um, it should be a good fight. If people who normally don't tune into boxing did for McGregor Mayweather and now they have this fight and this is a good one, then they did their job. They capitalized on the momentum brought to them by McGregor Mayweather. UFC did not do the same. They missed their window.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think this is about the time that they really wanted to bring in GSP. It just didn't work out. They will bring him in, but they already started talking about McGregor's next fight, and they want to do McGregor Diaz again. But this time they would do it for the title at 155, which makes it a little bit more interesting.
Who's they?
But they, the UFC, they Dana, they McGregor, they
I
whoever.
have I have not heard this from the
Oh,
UFC in the slightest.
well, it's been coming out of both Diaz's and McGregor's camp, and if they're talking about it, they probably discussed it with Dana White already. It's not written in paper yet,
I think
but they
it's
are
leveraging. I don't know that they discussed it with Dana White necessarily. I mean, what does it take Dana to do this? Just tell me what. Yeah, you two big stars want to fight. Hey man, let's do it.
Yeah, but
So,
do you think? I just think the public might be a little bit tired. It's gonna sell, but I want to see McGregor fight somebody else. Like I'm tired of seeing McGregor fight Diaz, honestly.
ooh, there's gonna be a fight now in October, I believe, or does it get pushed back to December? I don't know. But Tony Ferguson is fighting for an interim title. So if he's fighting now, the logical fight would be to have McGregor defend against the interim title. But if he fights now and then McGregor's not coming back in November, he might not even make it for December. So we're talking maybe next year. Maybe that happens. I don't know.
One thing we know about McGregor though is that he tells the truth, man. He told Diaz once in one of those press conferences, "I don't care about titles, I care about money," and it's clear that that's his priority, man. Because he's not even thinking about title defenses or titles. He's just thinking about the money fight,
Well,
another money fight.
by the time that November 4th comes around, that Bisping GSP fight, it'll mark a year that McGregor won the title and he has not defended it. Two
Yep.
times he's won the title, spent a year holding it, holding the division hostage, and not defended the title. That's a bad look for UFC, man.
No, for real, definitely. And it's a bad look for McGregor as well,
Yeah,
not just this.
I'm kind of sad that Demetrius Johnson didn't get a chance to defend his title and possibly make me a part of history so I can witness history as it happened. But it just so happens that there's a yin and yang and everything. And what I lost by not seeing Demetrius Johnson, I gained with the Cleveland Indians, winning 21 games in a row. 21 games
21.
in a row, uninterrupted during one season, is a record that beats the Moneyball Oakland Athletics 20 wins in a row. So 21 wins in a row in 2017. This is the new mark for consecutive wins by a single team uninterrupted. Uninterrupted because I guess some people like they can end hot at the end of a regular season and then play and win and lose in the playoffs and then come back the next year and I guess it's still considered regular season, but there's a big break there that you took. It's easy to rest up and come, with all your rested players or whatever and win a few more together. But this is uninterrupted, one single block, 21 games in a row.
Yeah, man, and they're getting hot at the right time too. It's very impressive. They have a very solid squad. I was having a discussion on the radio the other day that to me the Cleveland Indians are the American League favorites. Everybody, even though everybody was all over Houston Astros, I was like, nobody's talking about the Cleveland Indians. Well, look how they pretty much surpassed everybody now. To me,
Sincerely, when I saw this streak happen, and I'm sorry, man. I think I spoke over you. I apologize for that.
that's fine.
But when I saw this streak starting to ramp up, all I can think about is when we did our baseball preview here on the unofficial commentators. You called it with as hard as it is
I
for
called it
a
here too. There you go.
yeah for a team to come back after making the World Series. You did indeed call the Cleveland Indians to come back.
Well, I didn't even remember I called it on this show. I do remember calling it on the radio as well. I still have the Cleveland Indians going to the World Series and winning it over either the Dodgers or the Nationals. My pick was the Nationals, always has been the entire year. Still over the Dodgers, even though everybody was going crazy about the Dodgers. So now is a good time as any for me to keep my prediction going because those teams are both going forward strong. What's crazy about the Cleveland Indians is they got that win streak and they probably won't even win an MVP or a Cy Young because I think Chris Sale is going to win the Cy Young award. But they're right there in the race. They got players in both races, so that lets you know how complete the team is. They probably got a top three guy in the MVP voting, Jose Ramirez, and they got a top two Cy Young contender in Corey Kluber. So, man, the Indians are a pretty solid team, and they have Terry Francona, who's an experienced manager. It's going to be a fun postseason for baseball.
Is Cleveland slowly becoming like the sports mecca? We got a UFC champion, an NBA champion. They made it to the finals, World Series, if you want to call it that, in baseball, and they have a record now. They have a record streak.
I'd hold on to that argument until the Cleveland Browns prove something, because they still got the Cleveland Browns. They still got the laughing stock of the NFL in their city. So
Well, they didn't look that bad last week.
they didn't even look that bad last year. Their record didn't say how bad they look, but they just don't win. Because
Mm,
all their losses were very competitive losses, but a loss is a loss. So it's,
correct.
yeah.
Well, props to the Cleveland Indians, man. Good. You didn't call a 21
No, I did
game winning
not.
streak,
No,
but
thank
uh,
you
but
for
you
that.
you did have them going deep into the postseason. So kudos for that, man. That's some baseball knowledge you got there. Anything else, man, you want to talk about before we dip into week two of our League of Haters fantasy football league?
No, man, I want to get into football, man. I mean, look what I'm wearing. I mean, I'm wearing Raiders gear, bro. I'm ready to get into football for the first time ever in my adult life that I can remember. I have not done any research on this. I'm just going off straight off memory. The Raiders are a 14-point favorite versus the Jets. That tells you the progress that the Raiders have done. I see it and I still don't believe it, man. I've been through so much suffering. When the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, I was like 14 years old, man, and I'm finally seeing some light. I'm out of the tunnel. I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm out of the tunnel. So
You feel like
uh,
you're overreacting after 1 week,
it's not just 1 week. This is something that's
and then
coming
and
from
then
last season.
week two they get paired against the Jets, who are obviously like looking towards the future.
Dude, I'm not overly excited. Really held myself together last year. I don't know if you noticed. I was very quiet as a Raider fan for a team that won 12 games. Yeah, I wasn't that crazy as I normally. I mean, I was still a
Yeah.
Raider fan, but I wasn't calling the Raiders Super Bowl or none of that shit. Now
Yeah, you kind of were.
that was just probably me trolling. No, but this time I mean it though. Like I'm all in on I'm like on the Raider
I'm
train.
gonna go find that recording where you said here that you would sell your car if they win the Super Bowl just to go out there and watch it.
No, that's if they went to the Super Bowl. But
They went to the Super Bowl, yeah.
after Derek Carr got hurt, that dream went away. So as long as Derek Carr's healthy, I'm happy. We'll
I
be.
think he got injured as soon as you mentioned selling your car. So next time, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, man. But I'm ready to talk football, man. I'm ready to talk football.
Well, before we do, I just want to say my sister moved to New York. Big move for her and her family. So good luck to that. the official sister of the unofficial commentators.
For sure.
Shout out to Mei Ling as well, man. She's pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right, so let's talk some friggin' football, fantasy football, League of Haters, rivalry week. All right, man. So
Rivalry week, man. Say it with some fucking excitement, bro.
it's
Fuck.
hard. It's hard for me to get excited about anything. But goddamn, yes, it's fucking rivalry week.
Let's go, man.
Ah,
Let's go.
yes.
Thank you. There you
All
go.
right, so we're gonna talk some of these matchups. We're gonna talk about how they fared last week. We're gonna talk some projections, who you should sit, who you should start, what you expect for next week, and we're gonna talk about how some of these rivalries happen. But before I do, I want to mention that in last week's matchups for the League of Haters, the biggest blowout went to Darrow's team, the 20-plus push-up team, who blew out Chipote Chillon by 40.66 points. I don't
Wow.
know what the hell happened there. Chipote Chillon they didn't show up. It just didn't show up. I
They have
called it, man.
did they have Scott Tolzien as their starting quarterback? What happened?
They're kind of weak at running back. I called it when I said it. I mean, it's. I didn't expect it to be the blowout of the week, but I did say that the 20 push-up team is a dangerous team, man. There's a lot of balance there. All of those dudes showed up and performed with a lot of the underperformances that happened in week one. 20 plus push-ups, they met their expectations, and that was good enough to surpass Chipote Chillon by 40 points. The highest scorer of the week was
Oh.
Violent Mambo,
Oh yeah.
your commissioner and your co-host, Violent Mambo, right here, highest scorer of the week, and I have Kareem Hunt to thank for that. Kareem Hunt, who I picked third in my draft, I think that was pick number 29 overall. Kareem Hunt, who you offered to trade. What the hell were you offering me? Danny Woodhead, you crazy bastard. You think I would take that?
I
Get
wasn't
the
just
hell out of
offering
here.
you Danny Woodhead. I was giving you Sterling Shepard. I was giving you Jonathan Stewart and Vontez Perfect.
You can keep that. I will take Kareem Hunt any day. I was really excited about him. When you outed him here as a potential sleeper, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm still gonna get this guy, but somehow, some way, I managed to pick him up. 29th pick overall, Kareem
He,
Hunt.
he really he really wasn't a sleeper anymore. After Spencer Ware went down, everybody was talking about him. And he was getting drafted in the second round in almost all the drafts. So he wasn't really a sleeper anymore.
Correct, I guess. Well, he's the real MVP of Violent Mambo. The lowest score went to FIBA. FIBA was thrashed this week. It was a really bad look for him. He didn't have um, a lot of his main performers. Basically, Jay Ajayi, his number one pick, got that bye week in week one, so he didn't have him. He started something called a Sam Perineo, something or other. I think you told me how to say that name. What's it called?
Samaje Perine, yes. Samaje Perine, yes. And he didn't do
Dude,
anything.
I struggled so much with that last week. I couldn't say it, so I just settled for Sam Perineo. That's his name.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for him. He started Brady, who didn't do anything. Martavis Bryant didn't do anything. Paul Perkins, god damn it, him and the Giants didn't do anything. Jimmy Graham, nothing. Man, did Gary have bad luck last week?
Man, hopefully that carries over because that team looks like it's pretty much washed up. But we'll go back to that in a moment. The narrowest win, the ATL effing Falcons beat the so loyal Taz Talk by 8 points. That was the closest matchup, and motherfucking friend zone scores a putrid 86 points, but they matched up with Gary, who had the lowest score with 46 points. That was close to being the biggest blowout of the week. I think they won by some decimal points there.
It's crazy that the Lucky Award would have also gotten a biggest blowout award. That says how lucky he was for that matchup. I mean,
Well, he
Jesus.
played against the lowest scorer, so that just goes to show you. In the head-to-head pick'em, by the way, Paki, what's our bet this year? What are we betting? Are we betting beards?
As always, I'll be there for December. So whatever it is, I'm not gonna put my beard on the line. You're crazy. My beard is not gonna. There's like in order for me to put my beard on the line, you'd have to put your eyebrows with your beard on the line. Like I'm not even joking. That's the only way I would do it. But I'm gonna be there in December as well. So
All right,
it's obviously
how about we bet mustaches then? Keep the beard, just go Abe Lincoln.
Nah, man, I'd rather shave the beard and keep a mustache. That's badass.
The honcho.
We'll figure it out as we go along. Something will come up, but it's
Well,
not nothing to do with facial hair, please.
right now I have a commanding lead. I picked 6 of 7 matchups correct. You got 3 of 7. Um, I don't
How
really know
about
what.
this? I got this for you. How about running in a skirt in Central Park?
Have you been to Central Park lately? That's just normal. is that is that embarrassment? I guess it'd be
In the
bad.
middle of winter?
And you saying I can't wear leggings?
No.
All right, I'll consider this. Running in a skirt in Central Park and you have to shave your
'Cause
legs.
that way we can record it, we could upload it for our fans and they can see it. That'd be pretty funny. It'd be fun.
Running in a skirt in Central Park and you got to shave your legs. Take that.
Shit, that's tough. I'm willing to go with that bet.
Take that for data.
Wow. And it's gonna be recorded and uploaded.
All right. Well, let's get into rivalry week. I'm going to pull up a matchup. I want you to tell me what is the history behind this matchup. I'm going to with the 20 plus push up teams. This week they're going to be playing against the Newstons Lynchers. I don't know
By the way, that name is horrible. Can I just say that?
which one. The Newstons Lynchers.
Yes.
I did
Funny, yes.
mention I did mention that the whole lyncher part was a bit out of line. In this climate in 2017, I'm not comfortable saying lynchers. And furthermore, Newstons. Why is there an S there after new? Is there something that I don't know?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is, man.
I think
I really don't.
I thought
I
he
mean,
named it after Cam Newton, but it says
I wanted,
Newtons.
wanted to draft Marshawn Lynch not more because of all the name ideas you could have gotten than because he's a Raider. You could have named your team Taste the Rainbow, you know, Beauty and the Beast mode. You got like a million different names. You could just. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm not even thinking about anything like. And and you come up with Newton's Lynchers like Newstons. What is this?
I
This is
don't know,
ridiculous.
man. The only thing about this team is the little avatar they got there, a little animated Cam doing a little dab there. Even though I think dab is passe, that was like 2 years ago. Go
All right,
back to
so
the dab though. It got him pretty far in his NFL career.
All right, so these guys, Daryl and Brito, I mean, just to let everybody know, our listeners, we do a little rivalry fantasy league, and everybody has their own little rivalry. It turns out these guys were actually going at it throughout the entire year based on push-ups. Who could do more push-ups? Well, they started uploading videos of themselves doing YouTube, doing push-ups, and there you go. Now we got a rivalry, and Daryl used that for his team name. So based on that, going through I'm gonna go with my pick 'em right here, man. Based on this. Oh man, it's hard to pick Newton Lynch's when he has everybody on the freaking bench. But I'm gonna go with Newton's Lynchers winning this one, man. I like the team. I think Marshawn Lynch versus the Jets is gonna run a lot, or he's gonna have a lot of at least a touchdown for sure. Todd Gurley, the Rams offense looks legit. I know it was against the Colts, but this new offensive coordinator, this new coach guy, he seems to be a little bit more modern. Michael Crabtree, I don't know if you saw the crazy ass catches that Michael Crabtree did versus the Titans. He's gonna burn the Jets. And Mike Wallace versus Cleveland, a Joe Hayden-less Cleveland. Mike Wallace is gonna blow them over the top for sure. So I like this team. I'm going with Newton's Lynchers. Everything except their name. I like.
Ha! Newston's Lynchers this added a secret weapon. I'm not sure if you're aware. Maybe this has something to do with why you picked them.
Nelson Aguilar.
He picked up Nelson Aguilar,
I'm not buying it.
the Philadelphia Eagles' secret weapon.
Not buying it.
I think he called it Carson Wentz's best kept secret.
Who said that? I didn't say that.
No, that was Brito. It was such a kept secret that Carson Wentz doesn't even know about it.
Man, give me a break. Come on, man. That everybody's going crazy about his fantasy score. That was all because of Carson Wentz's amazing play. That's not gonna happen every week. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen again in the year, but I have no trust in Nelson Aguilar to put up numbers on a week-to-week basis. He's a matchup wide receiver at best to fill in a bye week. That's what I see. So
I totally and absolutely agree with you. I told him this was a wasted pick, but I mean, I guess he's not listening to me. I agree that the Lynchers will win this week, regardless of whether or not he has all of his players on his bench. I think that the combination of Drew Brees, Jordy Nelson, DeMarco Murray for the time being until he gets hurt. Carlos Hyde,
Wait, wait,
the
wait,
legs.
wait. Did you see their matchups though?
I don't really much care for their matchups. I
Oh,
mean, which is the one that scares you? Jordan Nelson against Atlanta, whatever.
okay.
DeMarco Murray against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde against Seattle. That's not very favorable. Delaney Walker against Jacksonville. I'm not scared of that. Tyler Lockett. I don't know what the hell he's doing in anybody's starting up. I don't know if there's anyone. Rashard Matthews maybe against Jacksonville. He's
And
stacking a lot of Tennessee Titans here.
listen, the Giants lost to the Cowboys, but the Giants defense looked legit. The Giants defense is for real. Marvin
Yeah.
Jones against the Giants, I'm not buying. So his only good matchup is Jordy Nelson. So I don't like the matchups for 20 plus push-ups. Jacksonville's defense is very, very, very good, especially their front line. So
Well, what
uh,
happened last week to the New England defense? I think, if anything, Drew Brees will dissect them, as much or better than Alex Smith could.
okay, but if both of your running backs are going against top 10 defenses, I'm not buying.
Are they top defenses against the run, though?
Seattle, did you not see how Seattle was controlling the line versus Green Bay? That was insane. And Jacksonville, obviously, we have yet to see they have a lot of new pieces in there, but it looks like they can be. So
And
I'm
still, I feel like Ty Montgomery had got his. No touchdowns. I mean, it was just a really hard game to score touchdowns on, but he got his. He
yeah.
broke out a few runs.
No, he broke out a couple of receptions. His runs weren't doing much. They were clogging those holes all the time.
All right. Well, agree to disagree. I'm going with 20 plus push-up teams on this one. I'm going to pick right here. I'm not going to oh well. Whatevs. All right. Just to talk about some of the people this week that performed or underperformed last week. There were a lot of underperformances last week. Drew Brees kind of played to his average. Jordy Nelson played to his average. He wasn't special, but just the fact that everyone else kind of fell apart week one. Jordy Nelson did well. Nothing to write home about against any of these other starters. On the other side, on the Lynch side, well, Lynch looked pretty good. Todd Gurley, I think I mentioned him before. Todd Gurley, I expected him to break out, and he did. LaShawn McCoy came through in the clutch. It wasn't enough for the Lynchers to get a win, but for whatever that's worth, here we are, the 1-0 20 push-up team against the 0-1 Newston's Lynchers. That's just hard to say. Stupid name. All right, now to some cooler names. We got F.U. Ben Affleck. It's good, and I swear, man, they put some of these names in here just to fuck with me. Zeke and Joe Punch-a-Ho.
See, that's a good name right there. I like that name. Zeke and Joan Punchahole. Now that is a real name. Thank you, Victor, for an awesome fantasy name. I'm not condoling violence against women, but that fantasy name is awesome. By the way, kudos to Victor for getting Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, that's the steal of the draft. Getting what I would have had as the number one overall running back if it wasn't because of the issue. Kudos to him. So I'm not even going to talk much about this. I don't see anything in FIBA's lineup that's going to match up against Zeke and Joe Punch a Hoe. Damn, it even rhymes. That's perfect. So kudos to Gary for getting Giorgio Trevecchio. That's all I can tell him. I mean, another Raider kicker, and that's it, man. I'm going with Zeke and Joe.
Well, I do feel like we didn't see the best of Gary's team of F.U. Ben Affleck last week. This week he'll get Jay Ajayi back. I don't foresee Tom Brady having two shitty games in a row. He's going against the defense of the New Orleans Saints that did not look great last week. And hopefully this week, even though they're both trying to do a troll game here, hopefully Victor doesn't forget to put his number one pick, Brandon Cooks, back in his lineup. That being said, Gary has a lot of boomer bust players, and I don't know if Jay Ajayi doesn't pan out to be the player you thought he would. By the way, going forward, playing the rest of the year with no bye week, I'm very low on the overall performance of Jay Ajayi. I got nothing out of Jimmy Graham. I didn't see anything week one, and everyone else is just kind of just dwindling there. I don't know. Jaquiz Rogers, I guess, is the guy until Doug Martin comes back. Martavius Bryant, I don't know what you expected there. done with that. You're right. I agree. I think that this week Zeke and Joe Punch a Hoe is going to take it. They both. Oh no, they both do not move to 1-1. Zeke and Joe will go 1-1, and Gary will go 0-2, maybe for the first time ever in this league.
Yeah, Yahoo agrees with you on Tom Brady. They have him projected at 24.29 points.
A
That's
whopping 24.
that's a lot for a projection on a quarterback. Do you think this is going to be an over or under? We just matched up these guys because nobody knows these guys. I mean, like these guys barely ever even talk. Like they don't show up anywhere. I don't know.
I
You
mean,
tell me, bro. You tell me. I don't know. This is the only rivalry that I'm not convinced is a rivalry. But
they're
we had
two
to match them up.
hell. Yeah, they're two hell of fantasy players. That'll tell you that much. They hawk that waiver wire. They are two absolute bastards. And I guess they're two kind of make believe guys. Some people think that you paid some homeless man to pretend to be Gary, and that I pay someone to be Victor, and then those are guys that are winning the fantasy league. So yeah, Gary is a former champion. Victor is a semifinalist or a finalist, and they call each other out, as far as I know. All right, moving on to the next rivalry. We got motherfucking Friend Zone against Freedom Man.
I don't get that name. Mo fucking friend zone. What's that about? Do you know?
You didn't show up to the thing at. Oh my God. Yeah, you didn't show up to the thing at Joel's house. But after a few drinks and a couple of chicken wings, he was flashing everybody, giving people lap dances,
What?
and we caught him on camera talking about how he was in the motherfucking friend zone.
Well, thank God I didn't make it to that.
Ah, you don't know what you missed. I'll send you the video. We got it.
What about Free the Man? Free the Man. I don't get it. What's this one about?
He drafted Devontae Freeman as the first pick, so I guess it's just a play on words.
Oh, okay. That almost
Freedom man.
that almost makes sense. All right, well, it's very simple, man. I mean, I'm
I don't. I
overlooking.
don't know. I don't know about that pick, by the way. He had the fourth overall pick, and he goes with Devontae Freeman.
Yeah. I mean, for this matchup, I'm going with Mo fucking friend zone. I mean, for once in the history of fantasy, Chef Joe actually has a good fantasy team.
Hmm.
And I think the reason for it is that he stayed away out of most people from New Orleans. He only took two running backs, so that's a big improvement for Joe.
Well,
Uh,
actually, he picked up a running back in the waiver wire.
yeah, exactly. So he has two of them. He picked up Alvin Kamara, which is a great pick, and he has Mark Ingram, who I'm not convinced. Which at the end of the day, I'm not convinced neither of these guys have a role because they're sharing the ball so much within all these running backs. I don't think any of them, including Adrian Peterson, are worth having in your fantasy team. But Antonio Brown, I like. Kelvin Benjamin, I like. Christian McCaffrey, I like. So Martellus Bennett, I like. Deshaun Jackson, I like. Versus a weak Chicago secondary. I'm buying on this matchup for motherfucking Frenzo, man.
I think that where motherfucking friend zone is strong in the running back situation, I think that Freedom Man is sorry. Let me take that back. I think that motherfucking friend zone is actually better in the receiver situation,
Right.
and then Freedom Man actually has the advantage in the running backs. Devontae Freeman and Mike Gillisley are probably much better versions of whatever uh, motherfucking friend zones is trotting out there, but they're very weak at receiver. Well, Freedom Man did not have um, Devontae Parker last week because he was serving that not suspension. It was a bye week. And both of these teams did a little bit to get better on the defensive side. That being said, again, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I'm going to go running back over receiver 8 out of 10 times, and I'm going to pick Freedom Man to win this one.
All right, man. I understand that and I respect it. I still think motherfucking Frenzo's gonna win.
By the way, the head-to-head matchup to watch here is going to be Eli Manning versus Tyrod Taylor. I think that
They both
the
suck.
they do both suck, but I think that Tyrod Taylor is more suited to the kind of offense that they want to run on the Giants than Eli Manning is, especially with that shitty offensive line. Like if you're gonna let them go through like that, you got to be able to move out the way at least.
Yeah. Right now, I don't know what offense they're trying to do in the Giants since they haven't even scored a touchdown. So I'll get back to you on that after they score. I mean,
You son of a bitch. Uh, I don't understand what Freedom Man is doing with Gronkowski and Jordan Reed. Like, they're both injury prone, if you will, and
I
if you're
remember. Sorry to
if you're
interrupt you. I remember Omar used this strategy with Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronk. That didn't work out for him.
no, it did not. But if you have Jordan Reed on your team, put him in there. Like, why is Chris Thompson making your starting lineup when he's not the starting running back over Jordan Reed, who's the obvious starting wide receiver? Sorry, tight end. Um, I don't know. I can't manage every team. I have enough with mine and Zeke and Joe Puncho.
Talk each other much anymore. And check this out. They both have a surgery because of football. So there you go. These two injury-prone quarterbacks. One in the shoulder, one in the leg. Man, they both been under the knife, so it's more of a matchup made in heaven than a rivalry itself. But they're made one for each other, man.
Donnie should
uh,
change his name to Cribble Chillon. We got we got a new baby daddy in Put Up Your Dukes. We have a newlywed in Chipote Chillon. Like you said, they're both two cripples. Donnie is a fan of the
Battle of
Patriots.
the Cripples.
Omar is a fan of the Dolphins. So
Wow, this is a perfect rivalry. Yeah.
there is some deep rooted hate, even though they won't externalize it. But how do you see this week going?
I'm going with Chipotle Chillon on this one. First of all, he has Derek Carr versus the Jets.
Hmm.
Michael Thomas is a beast. Des Bryant versus Denver. I'm not convinced, but I like James White over Duke Johnson Jr. I don't see a role for Duke Johnson Jr. in that Cleveland offense. He's just not getting enough snaps. Um, I think Put Up Your Dukes has a better back end of a team. I mean, he's better at running back and tight end. Chipotle Chillon is better at quarterback and wide receiver. It's a really tough matchup to actually gauge, but I'm gonna go with Chipotle Chillon just because he has Derek Carr on his team. Raider Nation, baby, number 4. What's up? See?
Yeah, I guess I have to talk about the other team, whether I like him or I don't. I have Ben Roethlisberger playing at home against Minnesota. I don't like the matchup, but he is playing at home, and that's where he thrives. Alshon Jeffrey finally gets that annoying Josh Norman off his back, so we might
He's
actually
get
see.
he's getting Marcus Peters, which is even better than Josh Norman.
Well, now
Yes.
that doesn't seem promising. Sammy
Marcus Peters
Watkins.
is better than Josh Norman.
Sammy Watkins, I don't know what anyone sees in him. I don't know why you picked Put Up Your Dukes and you told me you like Sammy Watkins when we did our preview. I have no faith
I
in Sammy Watkins.
love
I
Sam.
don't I don't I don't like his situation. He may have been a very high prospect, but I just don't see it. Dalvin Cook lived up to expectations. He did not exceed expectations for me. Sadly, Kareem Hunt sent the bar so high for rookie running backs in Week 1 that Dalvin Cook kind
Dude,
of was overshadowed, even though he
dude,
was good.
dude,
120 plus yards in the first game.
dude,
He was
dude. He broke Adrian Peterson's record for rushing yards in a debut. I
tell me.
mean, how can you say he was underwhelming? What are you? He
No,
didn't
no, 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 no. Whoa,
didn't meet up expectations. What
no,
expectations did
no,
he have?
no.
Did
Hold
you
on.
expect him to be fucking Jim
Hold on.
Brown straight off the gate? What?
Hold on. You listened poorly.
What?
I said he
No,
met expectations. He did not exceed them.
no. Yes, he did exceed
Well,
expectations. He
not
was.
not 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 my expectations. He
Your
got
expectations.
he
Oh,
got
it's
in the
me.
realm of 12 fantasy points, which is what you expected. So I got what I expected.
Yeah.
I didn't get any more than what I expected.
Running back drafted in the second round in real life and drafted like in the third in this draft, and he wouldn't exceed expectations. Come on, man. He wasn't a first round running back. All right.
Okay, well, 12 points is not exceeding expectations. I
That's
don't know
one.
what he got
That's
last
one
week
game. I mean, you got to see what he did. I mean, the guy is legit.
against New Orleans.
It doesn't
Anybody can do
matter.
that. You can run 127 yards against New Orleans.
It doesn't matter. It's what you is how he did it.
How do you do it?
I mean, he looked explosive. He was reading his gaps right. He had
What
a
you
lot of
expected?
carries.
Did, did,
He's
did,
getting the bulk of the carries.
did you expect him not to be that?
I mean, he wasn't a Trent Richardson or Eddie Lacy who were picked in first and second round just
No,
like he was.
I don't understand what you're understanding here. He met expectations. This is not a bad thing. This is not a knock. He just didn't go over my expectation of him. And
Okay,
I think he didn't go over them because Kareem Hunt was just so damn good.
that was one week, bro. You got to chill. Kareem Hunt's not gonna give you 40 points every week.
Okay. He's not gonna give me 40 points. I'll make a side bet with you. End of the year, when you come over here, whether or not the skirt bet is on, lunch on one of the two of us. That at the end of the fantasy year, Kareem
Okay.
Hunt will have more fantasy points than Dalvin Cook.
On, you're on.
All right, here
I'll
we go.
shake on that.
We'll shake on that. I got Kareem Hunt on that one. You got Dalvin Cook. I think
Dalvin
Kareem
Cook.
Hunt has more fantasy points than Dalvin Cook. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Let's put the injury closure right now. Does injury cancel the bet or not? Your call.
Uh, all right. Let's say that an injury happens. We'll count the points up to that point. That'll be when we end the bet. If it happens week 7, then week 7 we're just gonna count all the points.
Bullshit, because that's bullshit. Because if Dalvin Cook gets hurt next week or Kareem Hunt already has 40 points. Nah, that's not. It's either it counts or it doesn't. That's it.
The fuck is that then?
Don't give me no until the injury date. No, no, that's bullshit. Either of them can fucking tear an ACL next week. Don't give me that.
Well, I already have like a 30-point lead on you, so what does it matter?
Well, give me 16 games to catch up. Well, 15 actually.
Doubt it. All right. So what's the clause here? If there's an injury, we void the bet?
I don't know, man. It's up to you. I'm willing to go for it, with or without injury, because I think Dalvin Cook is durable.
Hmm. I think Kareem Hunt is durable too. All right, we'll take the bet regardless, injury or not. But I don't know if he gets injured week 2, then it's no point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. Let's move on.
All right. Well, full year, I'm taking Kareem Hunt over Dalvin Cook. And in this matchup, I'm taking Chipotle Chillon.
All right. So you took the same guy that I did. All right. There you go.
Yeah, I talked about the other team, but I took the same one you did. I'm sorry. That's just them's the breaks. All right. Next matchup is the Gotham City Rogues. That's 1-0 currently against the 1-0 ATL fucking Falcons. This is projected to be a tight matchup. Not the tightest one, but a tight one nonetheless. And why is this a rivalry?
Because they're both something like that. You said it better. What was it?
Well, they're both grumpy old men. I can tell you that
Yeah,
much.
they're both grumpy old men. Exactly. We got our
We
producer Dago in there.
the
We
faithful,
got
loving husband against the Twitter. No, not the Twitter. Sorry, what's that thing? The Tinder Hound. Yeah.
and we got Ivan the Tinderhound. By the way, man, Ivan playing outside linebacker for us in our last game. He decimated the quarterback, forced a fumble. He just he just killed him coming out the right side, man. That was amazing.
Did you
Um,
tell Ivan that he had the quarterback had peanut butter in his belt? That'd probably get him going.
yeah, you're not even joking. That's probably what he thought. But yeah, man, kudos to Ivan for that one, man. Going over this matchup, the motherfucking Falcons versus the Green Bay Packers, because that's pretty much it, right? So I'm gonna go with Gotham City Rogues on this one. That's simple. Half of his team is the Falcons, and they're going against Green Bay. Green Bay's defense, I'm not totally sold on it, but they looked a little better. I like the Matt Ryan's Julio Jones thing, but I don't see how Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Tevin Coleman, and Austin Hooper, all of them are going to give you points versus Green Bay. I think 2 out of those 4 give you points. The other 2 will not. Um, and I'm really, really not sold on LeGarrette Blount ever. I don't like LeGarrette Blount this year. So, yeah, so Amari Cooper versus the Jets, he's going to blow out. And Melvin Gordon, he's probably going to kill Miami. Rob Kelly is also a nice addition to that team. Greg Olsen. I don't like Chris Hogan in that starting lineup. I think he could have put anybody else in there, but it is what it is. I still got Gotham City Rogues.
What team did you talk about? I think you covered them both. Well,
I
thanks for
went
that.
briefly over both, but I'm keeping Gotham City Rogues. All I said is that Atlanta fucking Falcons, half his team are the Falcons. I don't think that strategy is gonna work.
I don't think he had a choice there. He kind of auto drafted. Uh,
That's not my fault.
is it Austin Hooper? Is that his name?
Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper had a great game last week. I don't see him duplicating that. I don't understand the role of LeGarrette Blount. T.Y. Hilton projected 10 fantasy points. Ha! Your quarterback is still Scott Tolzien unless they decide to put out Brissett. And I like the way that Bomani Jones described Brissett drawing up a play. He'll basically just kneel down on the sand and start going, listen, you're this rock. and I want you to run straight. And by the 3rd line, I want you to cut in. And then I want you to do the same thing, but you do it at 2 lines.
the point is, like, he just doesn't understand the offense. He can't be any worse than Tolzien. I'll tell you. I'll tell you that much. He can't be any worse than Tolzien. And T.Y. Hilton, I'm sorry, man. This is just a wasted year. You're basically just out there running sprints all game. Um, it's not a zero necessarily for T.Y. Hilton, but it'll be a lot less than those 10 projected points. LeGarrette Blount steadily losing everything to Wendell Smallwood. Unless he gets a touchdown, this is a lost cause. Tevin Coleman still running behind Devontae Freeman. Yeah, long story short, I'm also going to go with the Gotham City Rogues. I'm sorry, you're not going to make up a whole lot of ground on me, Paki.
If my
Um,
memory my memory doesn't betray me, I remember the Raiders back in 2010, 2011, somewhere like that. Jason Campbell got hurt. Hugh Jackson was the coach. Charlie Fry had to be the starting quarterback, and they did a trade for Carson Palmer. And Charlie Fry was so horrible the first half that they put Carson Palmer in there, and he had just a week on the team. He threw 4 interceptions in one half. So that pretty much tells you what you can expect from Jacoby Brissett. Is that Jacoby Brissett? That's his first name, right?
Yeah, Jacoby.
Jacoby Brissett. From just being there for a week. There's nothing else.
Here's looking at you, Jacoby Brissett. But I mean, it can go either way because what happened there with Tom Savage? He gets pulled out. They put in the Rook, and the Rook kind of had a touchdown drive immediately.
Rook went through OTAs and preseason and training camp
Yeah, and Jacoby Brissett did the same, only with a different team,
with a different team, exactly,
a better team.
and a completely different offense.
Well, you're more about the X's and O's than I
That-
am.
that-
I don't see any people on this bench that are worth starting in his place. Um, what's his name? ATL Fox has Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill was supposed to be the starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. He got 10 touches. All the other running backs got more touches than he did. I don't understand what's the point of trotting him out as a starter if he only got to play like 10 snaps or so.
It's the same issue with New Orleans, man. I mean, I don't trust in that running back by committee thing. I don't. I prefer not to have any running back. If
For
you have
fantasy, I
yeah,
agree
for
with you.
fantasy purposes, a running back by committee guy, even if he's a starter, is the same as having no running backs. It's 3 backups.
We're past that matchup, so I don't get to say it. I'm just gonna say it here. Adrian Peterson in New Orleans is a match made in hell. I do not understand who the hell thought this was a good idea.
I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there, especially the way they're using him. I don't like it.
The next matchup is the Powell Rangers against. No, that you don't hold a candle to Joel Vasquez's team.
Go go Power Rangers!
All right, well,
I think it's obvious that you're probably gonna pick yourself on this one.
Of course,
Because,
I got OBJ back.
mm, okay, well, go ahead. Talk some more.
That's it. I got OBJ back.
Well,
Tell me,
for
wait. Now that we're on my team, I want to discuss this with you, Jay. Now that I got you here, right now on the air. So tell me about Stephon Diggs.
what about Stephon Diggs?
No, what about Stephon Diggs?
you played against New Orleans.
You tell me. It doesn't matter that he played against New Orleans. Did you see the catches that he was making with coverage? Did you not see that touchdown catch he made in the back of the end zone?
Well,
It had nothing to do with New Orleans.
we did say that he's a good receiver. There's no doubt about that. We just said that.
No, you. What did you say? Don't talk about we.
Well, what did I say? I'm not big on him.
Yeah, exactly. What you were saying.
I'm not big on him. I think I might have had the chance to pick him, and I don't know if he was in the range of where I picked Allen Robinson, or was it when I picked what's the other guy that I like a lot? Jeez, the guy I like a lot, and I forgot his name.
I don't know, but Stephon Diggs is a playmaker, bro. And are you crazy? I'm willing to say Stephon Diggs has to be in a top 5 conversation for most dangerous receivers with their ball in the hand, with the ball in their hands.
What the hell is that?
I mean, there's receivers that make plays, catching the ball, like Julio Jones, right? Or like
Okay.
like I don't know, receivers that make a play on the ball. But there's receivers that make a play with the ball in their hands, like Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs, bro. Stephon Diggs, he's a legit playmaker.
What is your knock on him? He'll
My,
eventually get hurt. You'll get the best out of
well,
him
as
for.
long as he's healthy, anytime he touches the ball, he's a potential touchdown. Just like OBJ, but with
Yeah,
less
well,
obvious, less juice.
I I don't like his quarterback situations. I sincerely I
What?
prefer. Hey man, it is what it
With
is.
all this hate on Sam Bradford, dude, Sam
Listen,
Bradford is a legit
things
quarterback.
things can change from one week to sorry from one year to the next, right? Some players decline, their skills go down. Some people actually find their groove and get better. So I'm not overreacting to week number one, and just based on the trajectory, I would feel more comfortable being the receiver for Joe Flacco than I would for Sam Bradford.
That's
Now,
that's BS. I
now
take
Stephon
Bradford for Flock.
Now, Stephon Diggs, like you said, is a playmaker. He'll take those Sam Bradford 7 yard passes and turn them into gold. But he's also exposing himself to a lot of risk when he's trying to make those 7 yard passes into first downs, into touchdowns, into big plays. It's very hard when you're given the ball in the middle of all the action and hoping that somehow you break through and weave through all of that and make a touchdown. I don't think Stephon Diggs is bad. I just don't like the situation he's in. And maybe I get proven wrong. And maybe next year I'm in the same seat saying how good Sam Bradford looked. I might even draft Sam Bradford thinking like, man,
My team is
this
gonna be
guy's.
named. My team. I'm gonna change my team name to the guys that Jay hate. You hated on Rodgers. You hated on Stephon Diggs. You
How do
hated
you
on Odell
listen?
Beckham. Not his
Hold.
skill, but his
When did I
attitude.
hate on Rodgers?
You said Rodgers was overrated. His receivers made him. You
Yeah, well,
you hated on Jordan Howard, saying that he's gonna get replaced. You hated on Odell Beckham's attitude,
I
not his
asked the
game. I'll give
question.
you that one.
I asked the question.
So yeah, you hate on all my guys. So yeah, there you go. I'm the guys that Jay hate.
I also hate C.J.
You're
Anderson.
probably gonna pick against me. I assume, right? Since you hate all my guys.
I hate C.J. Anderson and fuck Jason Witten.
There you go.
And your fucking kicker got 14 points against me. I hate him too.
There you go.
Thank God you decided to go with 3 pass rushes. Otherwise, I'd have been fucked last week.
I'm
Oh
sticking.
man,
I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with it.
Joel Vasquez's team has Jameis Winston, who's fresh. He hasn't played a game yet, going up against Chicago, which looked like well, they played against Atlanta. They played decently well. You
Did
know, they were like a little sandlot team, like the Bad News Bears, pun intended. And then AJ Green against Houston. Houston is super depleted, but they're playing on Thursday. They do have a lot to prove because that team looked like hot garbage last week. Um, Landry
wait.
didn't.
Both of these teams look like hot garbage. Not wasn't just Houston. Cincinnati too.
I was talking about Cincinnati.
No, but you said Houston is gonna get back at AJ Green, right? Because they got something to prove. But I'm saying that they both.
No, I meant AJ Green had something to prove. I mean,
Yeah,
Andy Dalton was just dreadful last week.
yeah. Regardless, both of these teams played horrible last week. That's my point.
All right,
Both
well,
Cincinnati and Houston.
fair point.
Perfect for Thursday night football.
Landry did not play. Leonard Fournette looked great. I don't know what the
Yes.
hell you were on when you were like, injury risk, blah, 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 blah.
He
It
is an
looks.
injury risk. I
It,
said it. He has all the talent in the world. I'm just very concerned about him being so injury prone. He's been injury prone his entire career, all the way through high school. So I don't see
yeah,
why that would change.
this seems like the appropriate time to mention that Blake Bortles has a better record than Tom Brady at this point in time.
Hmm.
So take that for data. I like that. I like that phrase. This is where it starts to go downhill, though, for Joel Vasquez's team. He got Giovanni Bernard. This is your starter, man. I mean, he's another guy who's in a running back by committee. I don't see anyone on your bench who could potentially step up. I don't know if he's doing a bit of trolling there. Why isn't Demarius Thomas on your starting lineup? I like Demarius Thomas. I don't against Dallas. I mean, Dallas isn't really a defense to write home about. Um, you got Sad Bradford, but you decided to go with Jameis Winston against Chicago. I guess the matchup is good. Sorry about that. All
But
that being said,
this team is
uh,
screwed at running back. He drafted Darren McFadden. He got bamboozled. Holy shit.
yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, if you drafted McFadden, you know you only drafted him for half the season, though.
I don't like the team. I feel like these are a bunch of mismatching parts. Outside of AJ Green, I don't think they're great. I think he had like the number 12 pick. And correct me if I'm wrong. When the draft was happening, I didn't notice this, but you pointed out. Did he draft Jameis Winston ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, he did.
What the hell was going on there?
Yes, I don't know. We have to bring him in as a special guest, put a dunce hat on him, um, and have him answer that question. Why would he pick
Well,
James Winston over Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. Well, the Power Rangers had the second highest score last week. Um, he's on track to do that and more if indeed Odell Beckham Jr. plays. Um, Great, and if he doesn't, there's some suitable replacements on the bench. So yeah, this week I'm picking the Power Rangers.
For shizzle, my nizzle.
Okay, well, then the main event, at least main event in my situation, Violent Mambo is going up against So Loyal.
Oh, now I get it.
Wait, what didn't you get?
I didn't get the blah blah blah. Now I get it. It's because of Guica. Oh, that makes so much sense.
So Loyal Task Talk. So many of you that have been following the show since last year probably thinking like, well, why is Violent Mambo calling out his cousin in Rivalry Week? Well, it's not so much his cousin. My cousin decided to boycott football. I don't know if it's only until Kaepernick gets a job, until they fix the roads in Georgia. I don't know what the hell he's boycotting this week, but nonetheless, uh, Guica is the one managing his team. Guica is a new addition to the league, and he gets really irate and pissed off when I call him out on the fact that he spells poorly. His voice notes sound like garbage. In his own words, his English is not very good looking. If I had any hair, I would have pulled it out from the root already. This guy just is exasperating having to read these messages 5 or 6 times. I've asked nicely, like, what is the situation? What is happening where you can't take your time to write a message? I thought that he was just trying to get his takes, his points out there before anybody could. But his points are so asinine and outrageous that nobody's going to say these things anyway. So
For
take
you,
your fucking time when you write your goddamn notes and write some shit that makes sense.
for you listeners out there, Jay was a former English teacher, so there you go.
Oh my god.
maybe Guica just has really fat fingers and he gets a lot of typos.
Maybe he has like fake nails, from when he goes out and dresses up like a lady and he tries to type with those big nails. It's hard. I've seen people on the train struggle when they do that on their phones. I don't know what the hell Guica's doing. When I met him, we thought for like a really long time that he was a taxi driver. He would always send these voice notes with like a bunch of wind behind him, like he was recording with a window open. Ah,
Oh
well,
man, so
Jay,
who do you have? So who do you got in this matchup? So tell me,
tell
man.
us how you really feel, Jay.
Yeah.
Who do I have? Well, I have me, of course. Listen, week one was a very tough week for me, and I'm starting David Johnson. Paki, what does this IR mean next to David Johnson's name?
Injured reserve.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's out.
He's out until when?
At least 8 weeks. At
He was
least
my first pick overall, Paki.
he was your first overall pick. Yes.
For the league.
Yes. And
What do I gotta do?
you know what's worse? That you get the first round, you get the first overall pick, and you pick David Johnson in the first week. That means you're the last one for waivers, so you can't even take his replacement out of waivers.
I missed out on him. I think you got him.
I did get him. Yeah.
David Johnson's out?
Yeah, he's out.
This is crazy. What am I supposed to do now?
You still have a pretty solid team. I mean,
Yes, I do. I have a
you
very
still
solid
got
team.
you got Kareem Hunt.
Top to bottom, I have Russell Wilson. He did not look great against Green Bay, but he's going up against San Francisco. San Francisco did nothing last week to make me think that they're a better team. Jeremy Maclin is going to go against Cleveland this week. He should romp and stop all over them. I'm starting Brandon Marshall so far. I thought that Brandon Marshall, being that Odell Beckham was out, was going to be or was going to thrive as the number one receiver, but he was lining up a lot to Eli Manning's left. And I don't know if there's just like a trust issue with the fact that Eric Flowers is just a turnstile there,
or maybe Eli Manning finally got hit so hard that he doesn't see out of his left eye.
Now that
But
you
it
now
it
that you
took
mentioned
about
Derek
40.
Flowers, wait. Did you see that gridiron gangs thing from Bleacher Report? You saw Eric Flowers.
Yeah, I did. I did see it.
That was hilarious. All right, keep going, keep going. I'm sorry.
It took about a good 53, probably more, something like a 57 minutes for Eli Manning to finally complete a pass to Brandon Marshall. I think he threw his way 4 times, completed one pass. This cannot happen again, Eli Manning. Throw the fucking ball to Brandon Marshall.
Wait. I actually wanted to say that I'm really looking forward to looking over this game again. I normally go over the coach's film, the all 22 camera. When I see weird things happen like this one, and I want to see if it was Eli Manning sucking so much that he never threw it to Brandon Marshall, or if it was just that Brandon Marshall couldn't get open. Like, I'm intrigued because how can you explain that Brandon Marshall has survived an entire career with crummy quarterbacks? His entire career, he hasn't had a quarterback as good as Eli Manning, and this guy has had like 1,000,000 yard receiving seasons. He broke the record for most receptions in a game once with Denver, behind Kyle Orton, and
The biggest catch radius of any NFL player. Like, just throw it like 6 feet close to him, and he'll find a way to get it.
like something's going on here. So I can't wait. I'm really hooked on Narcos right now, season 3. So once I'm done with that, I'll probably get into the film and see what's going on because somebody's screwing up out of them too. Something tells me it's Eli, not Brandon Marshall.
Well, Eli was tap dancing because he doesn't really move his feet. He doesn't move his legs. He just kind of moves his feet. And it was too easy for Dallas to just get all over him. And he just wasn't throwing to his left. He was just comfortable throwing to his right. He threw 100 passes to Shane Vereen. 4 times he looked over to Brandon Marshall. He was just not looking to his left.
And he threw another 100 to Melvin Ingram. Elvin Ingram, what's his name? No, Evan Ingram. No,
Evan Ingram. Well, Evan Ingram
Evan
didn't even have a
Ingram.
great game either. Like, I don't know. He threw a lot his way, but I guess he didn't complete any passes that way.
He threw a lot of targets that way.
Lamar Miller, Kareem Hunt should be solid. Damn, I forget his name. Is it Cody Fleener or Kobe? Kobe?
Kobe.
Kobe Fleener. Sorry. Kobe Fleener saved my ass last week. I'm happy with Kobe Fleener being my tight end. Um, I feel like I kind of took him a bit too high, but what's done is done. Terrence West, he looked great in his role in Baltimore. Now with Danny Whittaker going out, it looks like he's going to be, more of a 70-30 split, I would say, in his favor. He's going up against Cleveland. I like my odds there. Uh, Tell me anything. Well, I picked up B.J. Goodson, another New York Giant. He looked fantastic against Dallas. Got 14 tackles. If he can do anything close to that this week, I'm happy with that pickup.
Well, you have to temper your expectations because remember the defense was on the field for like 90% of the game. So he was playing a lot more defensive snaps than you would probably see in any future games, especially now that Odell Beckham's coming back. So not discrediting his talent or his tackles, but you have to understand that the 14 was probably a little bit inflated. So you can't expect him to get 14 every
Yeah,
week.
I'm not, but anything close to that. If you give me 11,
Anything like 13, right? Like, anything close to that.
no,
Right?
no, not anything between. Listen, he's projecting 4 points, which is essentially 4 tackles. You get me anywhere between 9 and 11, I'm happy with that.
All right. Well, for this matchup, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Something scares me about Brandon Marshall in New York, so I'm not buying the hype yet. I don't like Terrell Pryor either for so loyal, but for the fuck of it, I'm gonna go against you on this one, man. I'm gonna go with so loyal.
You rat bastard. This is it. That's the end of the show. Fuck you, Paki. No more unofficial commentators. I'm flipping this desk over. How the hell are you picking against me, you bastard?
Because you beat me. That's why.
Well, I can see why, but that 14.3 that they're thinking about Tyreek Hill getting. I mean, 2 fantastic Tyreek Hill games. I don't know if I see that. Um,
That's too much. But he does have Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell is good. How is the run defense for Minnesota? Like, I didn't get much perspective on it because the run game for
I
New
think
Orleans
I
looked
think
like shit.
Minnesota is a bit vulnerable up the middle because they have an amazing pass rush and they have an incredibly fast defense, but they're not very chunky up the middle. So that Pittsburgh offensive line can create some holes for Le'Veon Bell. So that has to be the game plan. Because if they're gonna go for passes, they're gonna get screwed, man. That defense is legit fast. They're gonna catch up to Antonio Brown wherever he is, and they're gonna get to Big Ben. So I think the game plan is gonna be to run the ball with Le'Veon Bell, run it up the gut, and Le'Veon makes plays. So
Who's this T. Williams receiver for the Chargers?
that's Ty Williams, man. I had him on my fantasy team last year. He was the one that stepped up for Keenan Allen. Stepped up so much that he actually got a starting job. He was probably going to get benched if Mike Williams, the first round pick, was going to play this year, but he's injured right now. So, yeah, he's just a starter for the Chargers opposite to Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
A big athletic guy. He's similar to Vincent Jackson type receiver. I don't know you remember. They always have the big 6'4" guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the bulk of the points coming from Kirk Cousins and Le'Veon Bell. Tyreek Hill will probably meet his projection or slightly underperform. Slightly under 14 points would be fair in my opinion. I guess a touchdown makes or breaks his day. Outside of that, like a lot of these scores a lot of these projections rather are a bit inflated.
Are insane, man. They're insane. 18
13
points.
points, yeah, 14 points or 13.28 for Ty Montgomery. It's a bit
18
much
for 18 for Le'Veon is a big projection also. That's a lot.
against Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right, well, I guess you're doing it for the fuck of it, so I guess you have to catch up somehow because right now I'm dominating you. I picked 3 matches better than you did in the first week. That's I doubled your production.
All
So I
right.
guess catch up how you can. I'm taking Violent Mambo. You got So Loyal. And that's how it's going to break down. So that's going to be our show for today. Paki, take them away.
Well, normally you take them away, man, but big shout out as always to Dog. Remember, guys, to follow UC_podcast on Twitter, Unofficial Commentators on Instagram, and please
Hold the fuck up. We have too few Twitter followers. I know a lot more than the amount of Twitter followers we have. We need more. It's not that hard, guys. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to be putting out a lot of cool content. You don't want to miss what's coming out from the Unofficial Commentators. And
big things are coming.
and after you do that, tell someone else to follow us as well. Why the hell not? Do it.
And of course, listen to us on SoundCloud, and obviously don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification button right there. And that's it for this week, guys. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Jay.
No. See you guys on the other side of Rivalry Week. Thank you for watching. Unofficial Commentators. Out.
Peace.